What's happening? Thank you to all of you for listening. I appreciate it. It takes a little bit of time to actually look me up and stuff like that. So spread the word, man. I need your help. If you dig the show, please tell everybody else, hey, man, check this guy out. Or check this out. This guy is so much more miserable than I am right now. So let's listen. But either way, whatever it is, spread the fucking word. I appreciate it. Secondly, I really want to say congratulations to everyone who made third class, second class, and first class petty officers in the United States Navy. Congratulations, man. It's hard to move up. But hey, just remember, if you're not a front runner, it doesn't mean you're a bad leader. Maybe you needed to bust your ass a little bit more and study. Maybe you need that wake-up call to say, fuck, I need to study more. Or they just didn't need that many people in that pay grade. Whatever it is. Just find out what you can do to get yourself above and beyond where you are today, okay? And that's as a fucking person in everyday life, not just as your pay grade in the military. So, that being said, today's show I'm going to have Lewis Black on, which is awesome. And the reason why it's so awesome to me and why I'm so excited about it is because I was deployed to Camp Arijan Kuwait years ago. There was this USO show that came by, Lewis Black, Kid Rock, Lance Armstrong, that year's Miss America. They were all on that show, and they talked with us, they hung out with us, and it just took me away from where I was, and it made me feel really fucking good. And it was one of the many things that was just like saying comedy is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. Well, either way, he's one of the reasons why I got into it. But it was funny because I want to clarify the story we're talking about, but Lewis and I were talking about was there's actually a retreat. What retreat is, it's a song that comes on when the flag goes down at the end of the day. Well, that happened in the middle of Lewis Black's set. So you have this going down, and 8,000 people are completely turning their backs on. It wasn't Lewis Black; it was Robin Williams. They all turned their back on Robin Williams, and he waited till this whole song went down, and it was just like, what the fuck? And that had been like one of the craziest things I've ever seen in comedy ever. And it happened there, and it's just everything that happened that day. The power went out like 3 or 4 times. It was strange, you know. And a lot of the guys are in 40, Naval Mobile Construction Battalion 40 for you civilians. But the people who were in 40 with me, man, is that were there. They'll know what I'm talking about. It was awesome, and just definitely a life-changing experience. Just seeing that being deployed and having comedy come to you. So some of the comics that listen to this shit, you have no clue how much it means to have you come, and that's another reason too. I mean, when I retire, I'm up for retirement in 2016, and if I retire, I'm trying to set everything up so that I can spend a good portion of my time on USO tours overseas, and I'd really love to do that. And also, if you're a comic and you're going, fucking take me, dude. I'll go, man. Oh yeah, I really want to say thanks to Daryl Shaw and Operation Proud Hearts. If not, I would have never been able to have the opportunity to go up to do this whole thing with Lewis Black. It was fucking awesome. I really appreciate it, man. Operation Proud Hearts, you guys are the shit. When I retire from the military, I'm gonna help you guys out if I can, if there's a way. But yeah, definitely I want to do the USO thing when I retire. But I went to Ohio for Thanksgiving. Ohio was awesome. The ex and I really don't talk. So I think it was like 5 weeks without talking to my kiddo, you know, and that was fucking killing me, man. But she's biologically not mine, so I really don't have any say in the matter. But I just love the kiddo to death. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I've been raising this little girl for 10 years, so I look at her as my own, you know, and I don't know how to differentiate from her from like not being biologically mine. It's just my kid. I fucking love her to death. And her mama says, yes, I can have her for Thanksgiving. I was like, so what do you want to do? You want to go see a movie? Do you want to go to the mall? And she says, no, let's go through rocks and stuff. So I'm like, hell yeah, I love my kid. You know, did this kid come out of a Steve Simone bit? I mean, I love this little girl. So that's what we did. We went to the river and we threw rocks at ice and just listened to ice break and just laughed like we were both 11 years old. She's 11. And it was the best, you know. And, saw friends and family in Fremont. Big thank you to Dean Van Ness's and Time Out for, they got my headshot in there on the wall there. And they also have the best burgers in Northwest Ohio. You know, that's the thing too, because it's like, Fremont, Ohio's got some really good shit. I mean, they got that. They also have Depot Pizza. I love that place too. Hopefully by me plugging them, they'll give me a free pie someday. I don't know. Since I'm plugging people, I might as well plug Roop's Comics. Chris Roop's a good buddy of mine. He's living his dream. His dream is to run that comic book store that he owns, and he's doing a kick-ass job. So I always support him. So check out Roop's RUPPS, Roop's Comics. Check that out online, Facebook, whatever. Came back here, taught a couple classes, and then I left here for Red Bank, New Jersey. I spent the night in Brooklyn at my sister's. Next day, I drove down to Red Bank, and at Red Bank, I was looking for Jay and Silent Bob's Secret Stash. Found it. Problem is, they were closed. I honestly wanted to have Walt Flanagan on my show, because Walt Flanagan is a huge New Jersey Devils fan, and fucking, I love hockey, man, and I could talk to that dude for hours about hockey. Not just that, I got a lot of respect for the Devils franchise, and he's a huge Devils fan. So, and that between that and also, so went from there, went to do the Lewis Black show, did that. It was fucking awesome. You'll listen to it. It'll be on here, and then Friday I was going to do a show with Mad Dog Mattern. Benji, Sweet Wine, had to leave town, so we can't do a show without him. And Mad Dog's got a busy schedule. I don't want to sound like an asshole, and I'm cool with that. I'll go back to New York. We'll just do it again. That's fine. It's not a big deal, and that's pretty much what's going to go down. But which was actually kind of a blessing in disguise, because Norfolk Admirals, the hockey team I help out, which is basically our Anaheim Ducks affiliate, is playing Syracuse, Tampa Bay's affiliate, which used to be the affiliate down here. I know it's a long, fucking confusing story, but anyways. So it was a big rivalry game, and if you listen to the show the last one where I had Angelitas, Stortini, and Eric Nielsen on, that was the same two teams. Blood on the ice. I'm there. So I drove from Brooklyn to Syracuse and hung out. The game was so intense, and there was just so much shit going on. I was like, fuck, I am staying another night. It's just so strange, because John Kurtz giving him a bro hug, and he's on one team, and then I'm like giving a bro hug to Mike Angelitas on the other team, and then they're buddies. All of them are fucking good guys to me, and it's like watching two brothers just box. The thing I want to say too is thanks Detroit Dungeon for featuring me. You guys put me up on your show every time I'm there. I fucking love it. I'm on your website, and I really appreciate that. Kelly Jean, you're gorgeous. VJ, you're the fucking man. Thanks for helping me out. I really appreciate it. And also, I'd really appreciate you guys to go check them out. And they're covering all kinds of cool underground things that are happening in Detroit. And I love being included into it. I'm originally not from Detroit, but I get adopted by that fucking city, and I love the city, and that's my teams, man. They're all fucking Red Wings, Lions, Tigers, and Pistons on my, So, anyways, yeah, thanks, and let's do this. Friends, fans, followers, leaders, and true believers, I'm here with
Lewis Black.
Motherfuck yeah, this is awesome. Because the funny thing about me being a comic, you were a big part of it. I was deployed to Iraq. You were on a tour with Kid Rock.
Right.
And Robin Williams, Lance Armstrong, and who else? Miss America that year?
Yeah, and whose name I don't remember.
Me neither, so that's fine.
No, it is, and it's too bad, because she was beautiful and great lady. And was that it? And there was a singer, I think. There was another singer.
I knew Kid Rock. I don't remember the other singer. There might have been. I don't.
No, it wasn't. It was just her.
Yeah, because that was the one where Robin Williams' retreat went down, and he had to turn around to put his whole back against the audience in Camp Arijan, Iraq. Mm-hmm. That shit was fucking crazy. That right there kind of got me into saying if there's any kind of cure for anything, it's definitely comedy. So I had a little bit of issues with PTSD when I came back, and I went, and one of the first things I did was I went to hang out just watch Jimmy Kimmel Live,
happened to be the guy doing the warm-up there is Don Barris, one of the nicest guys I've ever met. Don Barris is like, hey, why don't you come to the Comedy Store after that? And I've never left. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, physically, yeah, but my head is, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And just wanted, and that's where I started.
Good for him.
But yeah, Don Barris, you know, God bless that dude. I'll tell you right now. But for you, like, how did you come up? I mean, how did you start as a comic?
I just did it because I did it for, you know, fun. It was like a hobby. I didn't do it because I thought I'd become a comic. I did it as like just because I was fascinated by it. I watched a lot of comics. The whole thing of being a comic to me was kind of like, who the fuck gets up there and does this? Right. And why would you do it? And I kind of was funny. I knew I was funny, and I could tell, you know, around the table it's the same thing you've got. You know, you made people laugh. You go, fuck, I could do this. Right. Well, and I never thought I could do it. I just thought, well, what's the difference between doing it here and doing it there? And then I just started doing it, and it just kind of, I kept going back to it. And I was really interested in doing theater, which was psychotic, and I was writing plays. But this was a way I could write something and do it. So I could write it out and get it up.
Okay, so that kind of helped you out, like, as far as writing writing jokes was basically writing shit that you would have had in the play anyway.
Right. Well, writing not really what I'd have in the play, and not even writing jokes because I didn't even think about writing jokes. Right. I just was up there trying to get people to laugh because I never thought about it. I never was in a position where I was in a room with comics. It was always in theater places. So so I always had that kind of like, they were laughing because none of them would do it. Okay. I would do it. Right. And so for me it was a matter of being, so when I eventually got into going on as a comedian and hanging out at clubs, even by then I didn't think in terms of writing. I'm still kind of in awe of people who write jokes. Right. I fall into them by accident.
So you just kind of riff on shit.
Yeah.
What I loved was you took a combination of a professional that's been up there forever and somebody just had something fucked up happen in a bar. I loved that when you did that. When the door slammed, you're like, "Oh fuck! It's great time for a callback." It's Santa, and you brought that right back in. And then it's just like some asshole over by the pool table because I've done clubs where there's just like 3 people in there, and one's whacked out on heroin, the other 2 are just an arguing couple over by the fucking pool tables, and the game is on, and they're not even paying attention to you on stage. And you did the whole "Hey buddy" thing with when somebody yelled out Obama. That was, you know, and so you just went on this fucking riff. I mean, what kind of moments like that as a comic do you really love?
Those moments. I like the moment where, basically, I always like the moment where I let the audience into the fact that this is what I'm doing, where this is you know, that I don't stay the course. Right. That has always driven me nuts. In the sense, I mean, I don't mind doing my act. I'm glad I like my act. I change it up anyway.
But when more time.
But plus, yeah, exactly. But plus the fact that you let the audience know, I'm conscious that I'm here with you. Right. And you helped me create this as much as I created. Well, that's cool. And it's good that one thing you said that's good for you is that I played, just so you know, you have 3 people in the room, you got 5, you got 10, you got 12. It doesn't matter. It's as many as 50 people or 100 people. If you got 3 people, you still got people entertained. I had 3 people on. We did for reasons that escaped me. I was in Washington D.C. I was in D.C. seeing my folks who live in Maryland, and I got booked to do this gig. I'm 3 people at Christmas Eve.
What year was this? 1972?
No, this was really. Oh, but no, it was like
man.
Close to. It was 87, 86, 85.
Okay, so this is all right. Yeah, I'm like,
but I mean,
basically it wasn't like 2 fucking years ago.
No, right. But it was still. I mean, it was crazy. It was 3 people in a room, right. And I went. What I did was I sat down at the table and said, "Okay, here's what we're going to." Because I said, "Really, we're going to do this?" To the owner. "Oh yeah." Yeah. So I went and sat at the table with him and just said, "Okay, here's what we're going to do."
Was there any like bad things that happened while you were on the road that you're like, "Man, fuck, I might want to get out of comedy"?
No. I made a living. I've been working in theater and made no money at all. And so when I was on the road as a comic, nothing ever happened that wasn't. I was always like, "This is great." I'm getting away with murder.
I bet, man. And that's what got you into, because I want to say once again, I said it before that I started recording, I'll say it again, God bless you, man. Thank you so much. But what got you into actually doing the USO tours?
That was Robin. Robin
Okay.
called, because I had said, this is before the movie, the first tour we did was before that movie I did with him. I kept saying to the USO, David Tell and I had toured together. We kept trying to get.
He's a real good guy. He's a hell of a good guy, too.
Yeah, he is.
Dave.
Dave and I tried to get. We were going, can you give tickets away? Can you da-da-da? Can we do a USO? What can we do? And we were, and no one responded. And then Robin asked me to do it.
Right.
And I was like, yeah, absolutely, I'm done. That was it. And that was the beginning of it. And then the next time, Robin couldn't do it, and and they said, we want you to be, you're the lead comic. And I went, what do you mean? You can't, look, if we are at this point, I'm the best you can do, you're fucked. And so we went out again, and then Robin came back the third time. And I was really glad. I was really a life changer.
If you don't know Lewis Black, if you're not a fan of Lewis Black, when you see this guy live, he actually asks you to fucking send anything. So, I sent in, could you say something about the Robin Williams, Kid Rock, basically what we've already talked about, and I was like I was a kid at Christmas opening up a present when he's like, oh yeah, well this motherfucker, and he goes right into a tear. I mean, could you go into some of that, or?
Well, it was about Lance. Cause
yeah.
The person he didn't include was Lance Armstrong, who was the dick on the.
That's why I didn't include him.
But it was good. But people really, I mean, the thing that was weird, and I should have given him his due, was even through it all. I mean, he was great with the troops.
Yeah.
He was a pisser to me, but with the troops, he fucking was on top of it. And the troops love him.
Yeah.
I mean, because he's like,
Loved.
Loved him. I mean, yeah, that's true. But he was literally like, I'm going to... but the weirdest thing with Lance, too, was the fact that we'd wake up, my clothes are like you fucking, we're in the desert. It's, this. It's like fucking everything you're putting on is a piece of shit.
Yeah.
It's like, really, and there's dust. He would wake up every day. He's like fucking impeccable. It's like he got in a tuxedo from the goddamn... He's wearing, like, these clothes. It's like, and he's going, well, Nike built these things especially for my specific body. But to his credit, he would go out.
Right.
We would do all day shit, and he would come back to the base and say, who's running with me? And he'd run
cool.
with the guys. And that's
badass. And then, another
it's
thing,
huge, because it's really like, you're out there, and then, look, I was out there with you guys. I mean, it's brutal.
Right.
And you get that guy who comes and goes, I'm gonna run with you today. I ran with Lance Armstrong today. That can get you through. That's
the amazing part, because at the end of the day, I mean, and that's one of the things too that comedy really took me away is people that listen to my shows heard me say this about 30 times, but when we were in Fallujah, we're fixing the road on MSR Mobile, and we're hiding behind this big pile of asphalt. And, Rivera's out of the Navy now, so I'll say his name. I usually don't mention people that are on active duty, but Rivera's out. We had a big-ass pile of asphalt, and we're hiding behind there, and I'm fucking smoking a cigarette, and Rivera's he's never been out of fucking some little city in Arizona, ever. And he's panicking, he's like, SW1, this shit's fucked up, man. I'm just looking at another mortar coming in, and I said, dude, if the next one that comes in, I just hope it fucking kills us all, dude. And he's Hispanic. He turned completely fucking white, and he's like, well, that's fucked up, man. I was like, no, because if it hits that concrete we've been pouring for the last 48 hours, I'm going to kill my fucking self, man. And it was like, and from there on, and then you're hitting the show, and then hitting up Kimmel, and then running into Barris, and then hanging out the store. And in the back of this, before I even went on stage, I was just hanging out back, just saying, stories like I'm talking to you.
Right.
And they're like, you should tell those on stage. I'm like, fuck no.
Yeah,
I'm not going up there. And then no, dude, you got shot at. You hit road bomb. Get up there. You're gonna fucking.
But I would seriously. I mentioned this to you before, and I'm just saying it because the things on. But Comedy Warriors is this film about a group of four. It's one woman, think they're 3 or 4 guys. It's 3 guys, I think, and they've all had some sort of really cataclysmic thing occurred there, and they all ended up in comedy.
Okay.
It wasn't like they were. It was they in part. Somehow this all came to be that.
Right.
And they have Zach and me, Zach Galifianakis and me, and Bob Saget work with them. And but you watch these guys, and they're really, and it's the same thing. I mean, you get up there and tell the story.
Yeah.
Because it's vital because these people out here. I mean, for me, it was a revelation to go over there because I knew nobody in the service because since they fucking decided to get rid of the volunteer, since they made it volunteer, well, you know what? You draft people.
Right.
Okay? From the very beginning, I thought the volunteer thing was a crock of shit because then it doesn't put the neighborhood really involved unless you're like in a section of Missouri where those guys have to, where there's half the guys from the town.
It's rarely, because like when my grandpa O'Brien was in, I mean, my shit. It's funny because like, well, not really funny, but
it's huge. It's a nation builder.
Yeah, like the Baton, like the whole Death March of Baton. A lot of that were people out of Port Clinton, Toledo, and Fremont, Ohio. That's like my area where I grew up, And then there's a school called Baton Elementary named after every one of our grandparents that was there, supposedly. You know what I mean? But it's named after everybody's uncle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mine included. But yeah, you had that camaraderie. You already had that. We're on the block, so I'm definitely going to fight for you.
Yeah.
It's not like the Romans where they're fucking each other, so that's why they're going to fight for each other because that's their loved one. But it's unless it was West Hollywood, I don't know. But but if they had like everybody else that was like out of Pig's Knuckle, Arkansas, whatever, you have that. I want my neighbor to survive. I see exactly where you're coming from.
Well, they didn't, but it's also. I didn't know any. I mean, one of my good friends from high school was the one guy who went. There were 2 or 3 guys I knew went to Vietnam.
Right.
Okay, and but I knew them, and it made it all real. It doesn't matter if it's one person. I knew after I lived in Colorado Springs and hung around at an Army base a lot because they let me work there and stuff, and it was the beginning of the volunteer Army, and that after that's 30 years ago. I met nobody in the service until I went on that fucking tour. Nobody. Because I live in New York City. Well, you know what? The guy down the hall who's living in the $1,500 apartment, and I'm living in the $900 apartment. Nobody there is in the fucking service. And most of Americans. I mean, the one thing when we were out there, the one great thing that Admiral Mullen kept talking about was the separation of the American public from the people who fight for them, and how tragic it was. And so for me, ever since I've come back, it's always been about you fuckers better figure this out because
it's not so much we get spit on; it's just we're not on the iPod Nano. You know what I mean? It's not like well, fuck those guys over there. Love and peace. It's not that. It's just they're not really on my Twitter feed, so. That's why it's good that you guys do that, and it's really appreciated. I've been hanging at the store for years. I've only been doing comedy for the last 2, but I think 6 years, 5, 6 years. I don't know. It's been a long time since I've been hanging. Since you guys.
And where are you now? You're in Norfolk.
Yeah, I'm in Virginia
There's
Beach.
a comedy club there, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Virginia Beach Funny Bone. Those guys. Those guys have been taking
good care
of me.
They better be good. You tell those fucks, or I will come through there and kick their ass.
Oh, really? Yeah. Okay, yeah. Well, Rick's...
let them know.
I'll let them know.
Yeah.
Rick's a hell of a good guy. He's the manager of that place. And
good.
And he gives me guest spots every once in a while, Lou.
Tell him, give him more, you fuck.
Oh, shit. I hope that'll work, man.
It better work.
All right. So anyways, we're speaking about... I'm going to MC for you tomorrow night.
Yeah.
All right.
No problem.
Fuck yeah, man. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Was the divorce joke too much tonight?
No.
Okay, cool, man. I made too many people. Hurt too many people when I said it last night. I'll tell you this fucking shit. All right, I got a commanding officer, obviously, because I'm in the military. But I got a commanding officer. He says, "Hey, it's 7 in the morning. We got the entire theater. It's got 500 people in my battalion sitting in the theater, and he's like, hey, we got a comedian in here, SW1. Why don't you come on up?" And are you fucking kidding me? So, I'm just riffing on... I did last night with 4 hours because it was I went up one of the last... It was a shitty club anyway. I went up like one of the last comics, and I still had to get up early as fuck for the next day for work, because you know how it is when you're starting this off, you're grinding, you're fucking doing your regular job.
No matter whatever you do.
And your comedy,
yeah,
it's nonstop. So like I go up, and I'm like, oh, this shit I did tonight, I did that stuff, right? Everybody at the end of it was like, that was some funny shit. Are you okay? Are you okay? One more question. One question real quick before you go, though, because I know you got wrapping up, is what would you give advice to guys that are starting off as a comic?
Do it again. Do what you said. Work in front of 3 people, 5 people. Whenever you can get up, like you said, they said get up in front of 500 people. I'm not ready to get up in front. You just get up.
Yeah.
You get up and do it, because no matter how much, because the only way you learn comedy is to take the punches.
Yeah.
And then you learn how to defend yourself. It's the same thing as the military.
Yeah, no shit, right?
You take the punches and then fucking go, okay, I've got your ass.
Hell yeah. Man.
So just keep doing it. That's it. And the rest of it's bullshit.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Because I'll tell you, comedy, what's easier than, it's easier to learn certainly for me it was, the craft of comedy is easier to learn than the business of comedy. So just go learn the craft and the business will follow.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah,
Right.
that's definitely.
And take care of yourself.
Yeah, thanks so much, motherfucker. Thanks, Lou.
Wake up early in the morning, go to the well, but the well run dry. Uncle Bear send there, find Mabel, until the girl come back by and by. In the wintertime, when it's cold out, everybody knows that the pine won't freeze. Locked in a cabin, cold jug of whiskey, waking up the dead, woe is me. 5th week of April, snow done melted, open up a door for the washing man. Get him in the shack, shoot sideways glances, hit him on the head with a frying pan. Down by the frog pond, come across a catfish walking up the right like a human being. Said, hey, what boy running around barefoot? Whole lot of fish in the world need free. Beaver liquor. Early one morning, hop on a boxcar on the St. Louis on a northbound train. Hole in the ceiling, flapping like hotcakes. Get a free shower in the pouring rain. Get through the city, checking through the motel. Fanciest place that I ever done seen. Look across the street for a little entertainment. See a young lady make her face turn green. Standing all butt-necked over by the window. In full figure, to my surprise. In come a woman with a funny-looking finger. Seen it all happen with my own 2 eyes. Seen by the landlord, big and all muscle bound, chasing me around like an old cyclone. Don't like the way this place done working. Jumping on the train for to get back home. Beaver liquor. Wake up early in the morning, go to the well, but the well run dry. Uncle Bear send there, find Mabel, know the girl come back by and by. In the wintertime, when it's cold out, everybody know that the pine gon' freeze. Locked in the cabin, cold jug of whiskey, waking up the dead, woe is me. 5th week of April, snow done melted, open up a door for the washing man. Get him in the shack, shoot sideways glances, hit him on the head with a frying pan. Down by the frog pond, come across a catfish walking up right like a human being. Said, hey, what boy running around barefoot? Whole lot of fish in the world need free. Beaver liquor.